Good morning, and welcome to All People's Church, Unitarian Universalist. Whether you are here out of curiosity, out of habit, out of friendship, or as part of a long-term commitment, we are happy to see you. My name is Marianne Clark, and I'm your co-celebrant this morning. In the pulpit today is our lovely minister, Laurie King Nelson. We are especially pleased to welcome those who have not been here before. If you haven't yet done so, please sign in at the visitors table by the front door, where you can be placed on our mailing list for the weekly newsletter, the weekly emails and the monthly newsletter. At the end of the service, please join us for coffee and conversation in the library behind the sanctuary. Please settle comfortably now for our musical prelude.
Thank you, Misha. I know it's really, really cold this morning, but looking up here every Sunday is like late spring and early summer with the beautiful greenery that David Bendy provides for us. So just put that in your mind and let the cold just stay outside. Come in from the cold. Warm yourself by the fire of community, and together we will seek the light of peace.
We now invite you to stand in body or spirit for the chalice lighting, our opening hymn, and the spoken affirmation. Our Our chalice lighting words this morning come from the Reverend Julia Corbett Haymeyer. We come into this sacred space, this hallowed hour, made sacred by our presence and intention here. We come with deep gratitude for everyday blessings, for the dependable changing of the season as they follow one another, for smiles and waves and spoken greetings, for being with others in worship, for puppies and babies and kittens, for the wisdom of the old, everyday blessings that sustain us every day. Please join now in singing our opening hymn, number 67. We sing now together. Please join now in our affirmation. The words are in the order of service and also on the screens. Love is the doctrine of this church.
The quest for truth is our sacrament,
and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. The young and the young at heart are now invited, if there are any. Are there young and young at heart here this morning? For our time for all ages here in the front of the chancel.
Okay. We have lots of young at heart and no young. So that's perfectly fine. Oh, look, we have one young. Ivy is a young'un. So I'm glad you're doing that because I could never get back up if I got down on the floor. So, do any of the older young'uns know what I'm doing? What? Well, that is one thing, because Advent is not always practiced the same way in every faith system. So yes, you could do the 4 directions. I was raised in the Christian tradition, so we did Advent as a lighting of each candle for the 4 weeks of the Advent season. And then Christmas morning, you lit the baby Jesus candle. But for me, the Advent season was more than just Christmas and more than just lighting candles and singing carols and all. It was the coming together of family and friends. I have a little tea party here with little tiny tea sets. And I thought the kids would enjoy this, so maybe I'll leave it out for next week, and maybe they can enjoy it next week. But we would have an Advent tea every year, and people who hadn't been to church in forever would come just for that event. And it was so much fun getting to talk about all the things we had done through the year and all the things that were coming in the following year. So we had those things that were behind us, and we had the excitement of all those things that were ahead of us. And I think for me, that's what Advent is. It is the coming, the excitement, the waiting, and having to have patience for all those things that are coming in your life. So I wanted the young ones to know that it's okay to be impatient, because beautiful things happen at the end of Advent, and it's okay to be impatient and ready for it. So let's sing ourselves out, okay? Thank you for coming down. I also have these. They are plastic foods, and you don't know what you're going to get. Remember, I had the other ones, and they were fun. Well, these are the same thing, only different. And so I encourage you to come up and take 1 or 2 or 3 and take them with you. And if you have the patience, you can maybe take 4 and open 1 each week. I don't have that kind of patience. I'll open them all.
Good morning. So something that we've started last week that we're continuing through the month of December is a light on leadership when it comes to our religious education, specifically our children's and our youth religious education. So we have a critical need in our church for volunteers for our young and our young at heart, because I do believe the regular RE needs help as well. If you have any questions about that, you can see Julia Sexton about it. She just stuck her hand up. Stick your hand up again. If anyone has questions about teaching adults, that's the one you can see as well, because everyone in RE can use help as well. But something that I wanted to share about was my experience growing up with RE. I actually did not grow up Unitarian Universalist. I grew up Southern Baptist. Collective groan. It's okay. But actually, those classes growing up as a child and a youth as well actually helped teach me to believe the things that I believe today. Because ultimately, a lot of the messages that are in the Bible are misinterpreted, be it through a singular lens, be it through a mistranslation from umpteen years ago because it served someone else's purpose then. And that comes to why it's so important to look into and study what you're doing. So those classes that I took when I was young helped teach me that the mainstream church at large in the Christian faith was not for me, because I didn't feel like it was meeting its goals, meeting its mission, and everything like that. And so that's the reason why I believe that children's RE as well as youth RE is so important, because it gives us those opportune time to teach those lessons, teach those values into our children that are going to be one day adults. And knowing those values so that they go out into the world, and regardless if they go out into the world and they're going to teach UUisms, they're going to go out into the world a well-prepared adult that's going to treat each other with kindness, treat each other with empathy, generosity, those values that we teach them, so that even if they don't go on to being a UU evangelist, at least they're going out into the world as a decent human being. So if you have any questions, Dean and Jacob are not here today. I believe they're still traveling for Thanksgiving. But if you have any questions, you can come see me. I can answer them as best as I can. And that's all that I have for today. Thank you so much for your time.
The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. It is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join with us. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. It is our custom to share the undesignated cash offerings that are collected each week with a nonprofit or charitable organization. Our Share the Plate recipient for the fourth quarter of this year is the Wellman Project. The Wellman Project is a resource center where teachers can obtain free supplies donated by local groups for creative reuse in the classroom and beyond. If you prefer, donations can be made using the QR code on the back of the order of service. The weekly offering will now be received. Will the ushers please come forward?
Our reading this morning is by Laura Dobson. And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has regarded the low estate of his handmaiden. For behold, henceforth all generations will call me blessed, for he who is mighty has done great things for me, and holy is his name. This is from Luke chapter 1, verses 46 to 55, known as the Magnificat. The Magnificat is a courageous and subversive song of praise. In the time of Jesus, Mary's homeland was occupied by the Roman Empire, a brutal military regime. Both the Roman and the Jewish cultures were deeply patriarchal. This world was not a safe place for Mary or her baby, even within her own community. It must have taken great courage for Mary to say yes to what God asked of her. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian who was killed by the Nazis in 1945, preached a sermon on the Magnificat during Advent in 1933, the year Hitler came to power. The sermon begins, "This Song of Mary's is the oldest Advent hymn. It is the most passionate, most vehement, one might almost say, most revolutionary Advent hymn ever sung. It is not the gentle, sweet, dreamy Mary that we so often see portrayed in pictures, but the passionate, powerful, proud, enthusiastic Mary who speaks here. A hard, strong, uncompromising song of bringing down rulers from their thrones and humbling the lords of this world, of God's power and of the powerlessness of men." Mary's words were considered so subversive that they were banned by at least 3 oppressive regimes. During the British occupation of India, the authorities banned the recitation of the Magnificat at evensong. In 1970s Argentina, the mothers of the disappeared put the words of Mary's song up on posters in the Capitol Plaza, prompting the military junta to ban its public display. In 1980s Guatemala, Mary's song inspired the poor to believe that change was possible through nonviolent resistance, and their government banned its public recitation. Mary's song calls us to resist the forces of oppression in our own time. The Magnificat is a call to social justice. It takes courage to make ourselves vulnerable enough to feel the pain of another. It takes courage to rise up against the powerful on behalf of the exploited, the marginalized, those in our communities whose daily lives are adversely affected by unjust systems and institutions. It takes courage to embody the beloved community, sustained by love and compassion for all. It takes courage to say yes to God, to let love in, to be transformed by it, to find peace in the resistance. Advent is a season of expectant waiting and preparation for the celebration of the Nativity of Jesus. The name derives from the Latin adventus, meaning coming. Marked over the course of the 4 Sundays before Christmas, Advent is traditionally celebrated with an Advent wreath, a ring of evergreen with 3 purple candles and 1 pink one, or 4 purple candles, that represent hope, love, joy, and peace. In Eastern Orthodox churches, which use the Julian calendar, Advent begins earlier and lasts 40 days rather than 4 weeks. For everything, there is a season, a time to die and a time to be born. With the arrival of winter's low, dark sky, communities around the world look to the miracle of light as a sign of rebirth and a source of hope. We celebrate the promise of new life and recommit ourselves to the protection of everyone's right to his or her own radiant humanity. Celebrating winter holidays, thus, is an excellent opportunity for Unitarian Universalist congregations to express their commitment to our sixth principle. We covenant to affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Will you rise in body or spirit and join us for hymn number 1026 in the Teal hymnal, If Every Woman in the World. At this time in our service, we pause to honor and to give time and attention to those things most important to us. We gather here for healing and for peace in our hearts and in the world, and honor our time together with the shared stories and news from the congregation. Each week there's a journal outside the entrance to the sanctuary where you can write a message of memory or hope. We honor these messages by lighting the 3 candles here next to our chalice. Also, at any time during our service, you're welcome to come forward and light a candle in our meditation center here at the side of the chancel. There are no entries in the book of memory and hope this morning. So we will just keep in our hearts all of those who are not here, who are still traveling, and those who may have had a difficult Thanksgiving time. Our meditation words are by Linda Hart. In the quiet of these moments, let us take a common breath, unclench, and open to each other and the Holy One we call by many names. We arrive in these moments bearing the whole of our lives. We bring with us the worries and troubles of our days, sometimes overwhelming, loss beyond words, pain and struggle known only in the deepest place in our hearts. Here in the quiet, joined with each other, may we release our hearts from them and find a moment of peace. We come to these moments with the freshness of love, the grace of small treasures, with hope and faith, knowing well the promise of the dawning day, even in the longest of nights. Here in the quiet, may we lift up our hearts in gratitude for the gifts of our lives, pausing in thanksgiving. It is written that to everything there is a season, and in our hearts we know that it is true. As the earth spirals toward the solstice, let us be open to the blessed darkness, praising renewal that comes as the light slowly returns. Thank you, Misha. Your meditative music is soothing and healing to our souls. I spent this past week in Las Vegas, not gambling. I'm sorry, Mary. I did not win money to pay off the mortgage. Maybe I will try again another time. Instead, I was visiting with my cousin Marta. One of the most significant aspects of this trip was in the slowing down, the gentle and easygoing nature of our pace. In silence, we walked a beautiful labyrinth breathing deeply of the peace that floated along on gentle, cool breezes. We swam. We ate delicious turkey sandwiches against a backdrop of magnificent mountains that rose from a lush green meadow. We talked into the night about our lives, those things we were proud of, and those that we wished we could do over. We set candles in the windows and in our hearts. We were present for each other, bringing kindness, compassion, and love into those moments when the harshest words were those we directed at ourselves. We allowed silence to take all the time it needed. It was a time of understanding and connection, a time of healing, a time of peace. The year's end brings a gentle hush to the world, as if nature itself invites us to slow down and to listen. The season of Advent arrives not as a mere countdown to festivities, but as a chance to pause, to breathe deeply, and rediscover what truly matters. This is a time alive with anticipation, a moment to nurture hope and seek peace amid the swirl of daily life. As we enter Advent, we are called to embrace longing, not as something empty or restless, but as a spark that ignites our hearts and draws us together in search of meaning and connection. Waiting is rarely easy. It can feel like standing at the edge of possibility, caught between memories and dreams. We wait for news, for change, for healing, for joyful reunions. Our hearts may ache with impatience, but Advent invites us to view waiting as a sacred space, a chance to grow, to breathe, to reflect. In the hush of waiting, we find the seeds of wisdom. The pause is not a void, but a fertile ground where patience, resilience, and peace quietly take root, preparing us for what's to come. Imagine the stillness before dawn, when the world seems wrapped in shadow and silence. In that moment, hope is already stirring. Advent asks us to transform impatience into expectancy, to believe that something beautiful is being shaped in the quiet. Each day as we wait, we are invited to plant hope and nurture peace, trusting that the darkness will give way to light. Presence is a priceless gift we can offer ourselves and each other. In a world that races towards tomorrow, Advent reminds us to cherish the here and now. Peace is not the absence of trouble, but the ability to stand firm and serene amid uncertainty. Through mindful practices like savoring a warm drink, listening to the laughter of loved ones, watching the play of light on winter windows, we discover moments of joy and gratitude that ground us. To be present is to delight in the ordinary, the smile of a friend, the comforting rhythm of daily rituals, the simple act of bearing witness to another's story. Advent encourages us to slow our steps, to look for beauty and possibility in every moment, and to realize that peace is woven into the fabric of everyday life. The deepest peace is found within. It begins as a whisper in our hearts, a gentle reassurance that even in uncertainty, we are enough. Advent invites us to tend to our inner world, to greet ourselves with kindness and compassion, and to recognize the strength that grows from gentle honesty. By nurturing patience and empathy in ourselves, we become sources of comfort and hope for others. This inner peace is not shaken by storms. It shines like a lantern in the night, guiding us forward. As we listen to our own needs and extend understanding to others, we become the bearers of peace, offering warmth and light wherever we go. Advent is a celebration of that light, especially when the world feels shadowed and uncertain. Longer nights may bring moments of longing or melancholy, yet even in darkness, hope glimmers. Lighting candles, sharing kind words, reaching out with courage. These acts are sparks that pierce the shadows and remind us that light endures. Each story of resilience, every act of generosity is a flame that brightens the world. When we choose hope in hard times, we become lighthouses for others, showing that peace is possible and that kindness can illuminate the path ahead. Together, we can transform the darkness, nurturing hope until it bursts forth in radiant color. Advent draws us toward togetherness. It is a time to deepen bonds with family, friends, and neighbors, and to discover new ways to share love and support, whether through a heartfelt message, a shared meal, or the simple act of listening. Our connections become threads that weave a tapestry of warmth and belonging. Even in the smallest gesture, a smile to a stranger, a helping hand, a moment of sincere attention can lift a heavy heart and plant a seed of peace. In community, we find strength. In unity, hope flourishes. Advent reminds us that we are never alone, and that our collective kindness can transform the world. This Advent, let us move forward as seekers and bearers of peace, not just as dreamers, but as creators of hope. May we cherish quiet moments, draw strength from patience, and give compassion freely. By living with intention and joy, we turn waiting into anticipation and longing into celebration. Let us walk this season hand in hand, lighting the way for ourselves and for others, and embracing peace as our guiding star. Because peace is that light that never fails, that gift that grows the more we share it. May Advent inspire you to find tranquility in the waiting, courage in the darkness, and joy in the journey. Together, let us kindle the flames of hope and carry the promise of peace into every corner of our lives. Imagine peace as a living force, not just a silent companion, but a spark that brings warmth to everyone. It's the hush after a thunderstorm, but it's also the laughter that breaks through a heavy silence, the sunrise that dares to light the sky after a long, restless night. Peace asks us to be bold gardeners of our hearts, rooting out old anxieties and planting seeds of understanding. Advent is our invitation to lean into this transformation, slowly opening ourselves to hope, possibility, and a belief that peace can thrive even on the roughest ground. And to truly embrace peace, we must begin within. Picture your inner world, a landscape shaped by memories, dreams, and lingering doubts. Advent encourages us to pause here, to listen to the stories our hearts whisper. This season is your chance to be honest with yourself, to name the sorrows you carry and the hopes you harbor. True peace is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about welcoming every part of your story with kindness. Each breath is a gentle brushstroke, painting a sanctuary of calm where hope can take root and resilience can bloom. Peace is also an act of great courage. Forgiveness can feel like climbing a steep mountain. But with every step, we shed old burdens and stretch toward new horizons. When we choose compassion, we transform even the smallest encounter into an opportunity for healing. Imagine every word of empathy as a droplet nourishing parched earth, restoring life where there was none. Empathy bridges divides, reminding us that every person we meet is fighting their own battles. In those vulnerable moments when we reach out, listen deeply, or offer a gentle smile, we become architects of healing and witnesses to transformation. But peace, radiant as it is never solitary. It ripples outward, shaping families, friendships, and communities. How we speak, how we listen, how we lift each other up. These are the vessels of harmony in everyday life. Advent calls us to be artisans of connection, tenderly weaving threads of understanding. Sometimes peace means stepping back from a heated argument, letting go of the urge to be right, or standing up for justice with unwavering kindness. Each time we choose compassion over conflict, we strengthen the foundation of a more peaceful, vibrant world. Reflect on the spaces you inhabit: kitchen table, bustling office, the park where neighbors gather. Each is a stage for peace to make its entrance. It's in the patient response you offer to a loved one, the encouragement you give to a colleague, or the openness you show to a stranger's story. Our days are brimming with chances to be peace bearers, to plant hope with every gentle gesture. These small actions matter deeply, creating ripples that can reach further than we'll ever know. Advent is more than a countdown. It's the promise that the world is always in motion, always becoming something new. The stillness of this season is alive with possibility, a quiet stage awaiting the next act of transformation, healing, and renewal. When we cultivate an inner sanctuary, we anchor ourselves against life's uncertainties and rediscover a wellspring of gentleness and strength. Peace is steady and enduring, a guiding light that helps us find our way back to what truly matters. And peace, most of all, is a gift best given. It's found in the unnoticed moments, that reassuring smile, that heartfelt thank you, that generous act with no expectation in return. These are the stitches in the fabric of our lives, mending old wounds, softening divisions, and illuminating hope. In a world that is often noisy and divided, choosing peace is a brave act of faith. A declaration that kindness can rewrite the story. We may not solve every problem or heal every heart, but each peaceful gesture adds to that tapestry of compassion greater than ourselves. Remember, as Advent unfolds, you do not journey alone. The pursuit of peace is a shared adventure, a collective hope. In the glow of this season, we find strength in each other, courage in shared dreams, and belonging in our connections. By walking side by side, honoring stories, tending relationships, we become stewards of something extraordinary. We create havens where peace isn't just a word, but a daily living reality. As the gentle promise of Advent stretches before us, let it awaken peace in every heart, every home, every gathering. Approach each day with open hands and a generous spirit, so that when you speak of peace, your life bears witness to its truth, authentic, luminous, and transformative. In every act and every intention, let peace be the thread that weaves us together, lighting a hopeful path for ourselves and for every soul we meet. May it always be so. Will you rise in body or spirit and join us in our closing hymn, number 162, Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield.
Our chalice extinguishing words are by the Reverend Tandy Rogers. May you notice what is quietly good. May you give thanks with your whole body, not as performance, but as deep practice, a way of staying rooted in the sacred.
May the light of peace burn brilliantly in all of us as we carry it out into the lives of others. We'd love for you to join us for coffee and conversation in the library at the rear of the sanctuary. And we